Every year, law enforcement solves strange cases of people who have disappeared. But new mysterious disappearances are constantly being reported, many of which are yet to be solved and will very likely become cold cases. Thanks to those who create awareness of these unsolved cases, however, there is hope that they will be solved in 2022. Number 5. 22-year-old Brian Hazel mysteriously disappeared on the 5th of November 2021 when he inexplicably vanished from the apartment that he shared with his father. Brian is known to his family and friends as a friendly person who's keen to help anyone in need. He's been known to share his money and food with homeless individuals and to spend a lot of his free time helping others. On the day of his disappearance, Brian's father left their apartment complex located on McKay Boulevard near the campus of the University of Central Florida. He was scheduled to go on a 10-day out-of-state trip with some of his family members. Brian decided to stay home, and his father left $100 and a credit card for him to use while he was home alone. A maintenance worker later reported that he saw Brian sitting at a basketball court in the complex, and they spoke for a short while before Brian went back inside. On the 15th, his father returned from his trip to find that Brian was missing, and he filed a missing person report with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. His father stated that they were sharing a car, but at the time it was in a repair shop. When his bedroom was checked, his cell phone was found. The battery had died, and when it was powered on, they found unread text messages from the 6th of November onwards. One resident from the complex reported that they had spoken to Brian about 12 hours before his father returned, and he had spoken about going off the grid. Staff at a coffee shop in Orlando told investigators that they'd asked Brian to leave and not come back after a customer complained that he had a small blade at his table. No evidence of foul play has been found in Brian's disappearance, and currently he's classified as a missing person. He's described as having brown hair and blue eyes. He stands at 5 foot 8 inches tall and weighs around 220 pounds. The last time he was seen, he was wearing a black hoodie and shorts. Anyone who has any information on Brian's whereabouts or the circumstances surrounding his mysterious disappearance is asked to contact the Orange County Sheriff's Office at 407-836-4357. Number 4. In March of 2022, 25-year-old Jordan Ross Simeon had decided to start a new life in New Orleans, but his trips there would not go as planned, and his inexplicable case remains unsolved. On the 5th of March, Jordan had finished packing his belongings in preparation for a one-way trip to New Orleans from his hometown of Fargo, North Dakota. His friend, Adonia Daigle, was going to help him start over in a new city, and while he was on his way, they exchanged several text messages. Jordan had also kept in touch with his family, and the following day he had made it as far as Arkansas. However, while he was driving along Interstate 40, his car started acting up and it broke down at the White Oak crossing. Jordan called for roadside assistance, and while waiting for the tow truck to arrive, he called Adonia to let her know what was happening. He booked a room for him at a Super 8 motel in North Little Rock and sent him $250. She booked a room for him at the Super 8 motel in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and sent him $250. She also booked a bus ticket in his name so that he can continue on his journey, and the bus was supposed to arrive at 12:35 p.m. on the 8th of March. At about 6:30 p.m., he told a friend that the tow truck had arrived and that they were kind enough to agree to take him to the motel. But it would later come to light that his car was never towed, and he never arrived at the motel to check in. When no one had heard from him by the following day, Adonia filed a missing person report with the Arkansas State Police. Jordan's green 2014 Kia Soul was later found where it had broken down, and it seemed to be in good condition except the catalytic converter had been removed. Inside the car, they found his Xbox, a laptop, and his late mother's keepsake box. His keys were found on top of the car. Investigators searched the area but found no trace of Jordan, and he remains missing. He is described as having brown hair and brown eyes, 5 foot 11 inches tall, and weighing around 190 pounds. It's not certain what he was wearing at the time. He also has tattoos of 2 orchids and the name Stella on his left arm, and another of a hummingbird on his neck. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Arkansas State Police at 501-618-8000 or the Fargo Police Department at 701-451-7660. Number 3. The unsolved case of 31-year-old Timothy Perez started in March of 2022 when he decided to drive to Austin, Texas to visit his brother. Timothy lives in Conroe, Texas, and he works as a professional musician in the Houston area. On the 5th of March, while on the road to Austin, his father received a call from the police who informed him that Timothy's vehicle had been found abandoned along the I-35 in Austin. It was sitting near West Palmer Lane, about 15 miles from his brother's house. The engine was cold and the gas tank was empty. The following day, a call was made from the St. William Catholic Church to the Round Rock Police Department, and it was reported that a man was seen loitering in the area. Police found the man, but he refused to provide them with his identity, and he was given a criminal trespass warning. It would later come to light that the man was, in fact, Timothy. There was no bolo out on him at the time, and so officers didn't realize that he was, in fact, a missing person. On the 16th of March, his phone pinged off a tower in the Conroe area after it was switched on briefly before being switched off again. His family believes that he was the victim of foul play, as he's in the habit of keeping in touch. Timothy has shoulder-length black hair with brown eyes and a black beard. He's 6 foot 2 inches tall and weighs around 180 pounds. Anyone who has information on this case is urged to contact the Austin Police Department at 512-974-5000 or the Texas EQUU search team at 281-309-9500. Number 2. At the time of Edward Gardiner's mysterious disappearance, he was living in Bolingbrook, Chicago, where he studied at the College of DuPage. He was also working at the Ron Tirapelli Ford dealership in Shorewood, Illinois. Edward was last seen by a friend on the 13th of March, 2022, on 64th and Cottage Road in the Woodlawn neighborhood, who stated that he left in a white 2021 Dodge Charger that he had rented. His friend said that he may have been headed towards Griffith, Indiana, but that was never confirmed. Since then, his family has been unable to contact him, and all activity on his phone stopped at 9 p.m. that night. A few days later, his family reported him as a missing person in the Oswego Police Department, and on the 29th of March, his rental vehicle was found in Hammond after it had been involved in an accident with another car at around 1:55 a.m. It was reported that the occupants of the car fled on foot, and when investigators searched the vehicle, they found a tire shop receipt from the 28th of March, as well as a spent shell casing. It isn't known whether Edward was in the car when the car crash occurred. Police found CCTV evidence showing 2 men driving Edward's car rental at 120 and Halstead Streets in West Pullman, Chicago. The photos have since been released to the public in hopes that the men would be recognized, as they almost certainly hold vital information in Edward's case. Investigators also found security footage from a gas station in Hammond, Indiana, showing the passenger of the car just minutes before they would be involved in the accident. The passenger is described as African American, standing around 5 foot 3 inches tall. In the footage, he's wearing a puffy blue jacket with a red hoodie, jeans, blue nitrile gloves, and black shoes. When the car was located, it was found to have damage to the driver's side window and front bumper that was unrelated to the accident. Police suspect that foul play may be involved in Edward's disappearance, and they've asked the police to be on the lookout for him. He's described as having brown hair with blue eyes. He stands 6 feet tall and weighs 160 pounds. It's believed that when Edward went missing, he may have been wearing a fluorescent green or yellow hoodie. He also has a scar under his chin. If you have any information on Edward's disappearance or his current whereabouts, don't hesitate to contact the Oswego Police Department at 530-551-7300. Edward's NamUs case number is MP89795. Number 1. The last time that 42-year-old Megan Marone was seen was on the 27th of March 2022 near Longcoat Property Park in Massachusetts, and a $50,000 reward is being offered for information leading to her whereabouts. Megan worked as an English teacher at the Shaker High School in New York. She's known as an outdoor enthusiast who regularly went on hikes by herself. On the 24th of March, she traveled from Del Mar, New York, to Stockbridge in Massachusetts, where she checked into the Red Lion Inn. Her friends and family believe she did so because she wanted to get away, since she was having a tough time emotionally. On the 26th of March, she phoned her brother and mentioned that she was in her room having a bowl of soup and reading a book. The next day at around noon, her black 2017 Subaru Impreza was found abandoned on Church Street in a parking lot near Janet Longcoat Park. A resident of the area had spotted the vehicle and reported it to the authorities. Megan was supposed to check out of the inn on the 30th of March to return home, but she never arrived and her family filed a missing person report in the Bethlehem, New York Police Department. When her car was searched, investigators found some of her clothes, a pair of shoes, and a small box of DVDs. The car was found to be unlocked and the keys were nowhere to be found. On the 27th of March, her cell phone pinged off a tower in a rural residential area near Church Street, and a search of a 2-square-mile area of Longcoat Park and Church Street was carried out, but with no result. Investigators have stated that they do not suspect foul play to be involved in Megan's disappearance, and they're hopeful that her case will be turned into a solved mystery. Megan has auburn hair with green eyes and stands 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighing 120 pounds. It's uncertain what she was wearing at the time of her mysterious disappearance, and anyone who may have seen her or has any information that may lead to her being found has been asked to contact the Lee Police Department at 413-243-5530 or the Bethlehem, New York Police Department at 518-439-9973. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.